If you run paid ads at all, one of the most important concepts you need to understand is lead quality and how this changes when you go from traditional methods like organic content, outbound, referrals to paid advertising. And so in this video, we're going to break down what the typical argument is against paid ads. The most common reason we see for people arguing against paid advertising is very, very simple. Is that lead quality is bad. And to a certain extent, this is true. However, with any problem you experience in life and in your business, it's important to dig a little bit deeper into what that actually means. So when somebody says lead quality is bad, what are they saying? All that bad lead quality is a lack of familiarity, meaning they're unfamiliar with your offer, they're unfamiliar with who you are, maybe they're unfamiliar with the industry itself. If like say you're selling a biz op or you're helping people raise money for a new type of asset class. All bad lead quality is a lack of familiarity. So let's think about some of the other channels like referrals and organic content. Why are these leads so much, quote, better? Well, with organic content, they've been following you for God knows how long before they actually book the call. In some cases, like I think I saw a video by Alex Hormozi the other day, it can be upwards of 2 years before they ever take action. But you wouldn't know that. You'd have no idea how much content they've been consuming. Partner of mine and I joined a mastermind after consuming content for 6 months. I've joined programs after consuming content for a week. There's a varying degree of content with which you will consume. The key thing is, as soon as I feel familiar enough to trust the individual, I will buy. This is the other thing with organic content. Oftentimes, if you look at large creators with big followings, 9 times out of 10, the only reason they convert is because of proximity. The buyer wants to be close to the offer owner or the creator. Same thing goes for really any type of organic content. Let's flip it. Let's look at referrals now. Let's say you're in the capital raising space and a lot of your business is built off the back of personal referrals in somebody's network. Problem with that is your network is only so big and it is a lot harder to scale your network. Think about your time spent on the internet. If I make one video like this, I can now distribute this video to every single person that ever books a call. And the amount of time spent with me, let's say it's 15 minutes, can be extrapolated over hundreds of thousands of people, meaning I can spend multiple lifetimes with thousands of individuals and it has the same effect of going in person. And so the biggest difference between a referral network and paid ads is yes, you can scale both, but to what degree and how fast can you scale them? Your network is capped out. Now, they will be warmer leads because you've gone and you've shaken their hand. You said, hello, my name is blah, blah, blah. But again, the only difference between the two is the amount of familiarity. And so with paid ads, all that's happening 9 times out of 10 is you're catching somebody here instead of here in terms of how familiar they are with you. So that's it. Typically, that's the argument. And what this leads to is bad close rates, low show rates, and a bunch of other problems that show up in the business because the lead is not familiar. This does not mean they are a bad lead. Oftentimes, through paid ads, they may have more capital to invest. They may have more money to buy into your program. They may have higher intent. Their problem might be bigger than the person consuming organic content. And oftentimes, it is. I run an advertising agency. I rarely click on ads that will actually solve my problem. 9 times out of 10, it's just to figure out what other people are doing. And so when I click an ad, my intent's through the roof because I don't typically do that. Now, my skepticism again is also at an all-time high because why? I'm not familiar with the prospect. Again, what you'll notice is just because there's a lack of familiarity does not mean they have more money or higher intent than you'd see with organic leads. And so that kind of covers my first 2 points of the argument against paid ads and what lead quality actually means. Again, it's just familiarity. Bad lead quality is a lack of familiarity. And so in order to prevent this, where you run ads and you think the lead quality is bad and your leads aren't familiar with you or your sales reps and the close rates are bad every time you run ads and the show rates are bad every time you run ads, or even sometimes you just straight up get the wrong people. That's another very, very common problem. The best way to solve this comes in 3 different forms. Number 1, and I talk about this all the time on my channel, your messaging must speak to your ICP. What is your ICP? Ideal consumer profile, ideal customer profile. Really, all an ICP is who's the person on the other end of the screen. For those of you watching this video, it's people that want to get better at marketing and paid advertising. My ICP is an individual looking to scale into paid ads. For an info product, let's say I'm selling how to learn knitting. My ICP might be a woman over the age of 55, 60 looking to get into a new hobby. That's going to be majority of the market. Now, obviously you'll get little stragglers, but majority of the market is that. We're going to push the boundaries a little bit here, but let's look into stereotypes. A white mom over the age of 45 with 2 kids is going to drive a Honda minivan. Guaranteed. That's what my mom drove for a good amount of time. That's what a lot of moms drive. All your ICP is, am I speaking to the person that is most likely to buy? So that's the first thing. If you speak to the wrong person, you will get the wrong people. And this isn't just demographics of black, white, male, female, old, young. This is also their specific situation. So a common problem we see when selling to the general public is people will dig into pain-based language. And for some reason, they think this is what's going to get leads to convert. Well, they'll say things like, are you tired of working at at your 9 to 5 and scraping by paycheck to paycheck, and you want to get started in trading to blah, 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 blah. And everything's pain-based. The reality is the people with money are not in that much pain. So why are you targeting aggressive pain? Anybody that wants to quit their 9 to 5 and struggling here and struggling there, and they need help with this, and you know you're meant for more, it's like you're speaking to a broke person. Whereas if I say, did you just graduate college, you got a little bit of money saved up, and you cannot help think that you're meant for more than just basic ass office job. You've seen your friends find success, and you just don't want to put your money in the wrong place. Notice the difference. Whereas if I said, are you tired of living paycheck to paycheck, struggling to get by? Simple messaging change is going to completely dictate the quality of leads come through. So that's the number one thing. If your messaging's off, everything I tell you in the rest of this video is going to be a complete waste of time. So check for that first. Number two, this one's very, very straightforward. Nurture content. So everybody typically focuses on the front end of marketing, meaning they will see your ad, they will go to your funnel, and then they will book a call. After that, you just expect that booked call to turn into money. And this is the number one fatal flaw of pretty much every market, because after that fact, you're leaving it up to A, them to do their research, but B, you are providing no context prior to the call. Let's say you plan to go out with your friends. If your friends do not text you at all the day of saying, hey, make sure to meet me at 6 o'clock at this bar, or make sure to blah, blah, blah at blah, blah, blah at this bar, or at this club, or at this jazz lounge, or at wherever. If they don't send you reminders, what's your likelihood of showing up in today's day and age? Not that high. Yet for some reason in our businesses, we expect people to book calls and just show up. Doesn't make any sense. If I plan something for a week out or 2 weeks out, I'm gonna wanna reach out to the person and say, hey, we still on for this time? Or hey, I was thinking about this for this. And you're providing context. It's like if you ever go on a date, you're not going to say, hey, meet me at this time in 2 weeks, and then not text them until the date. Like, even if it's little touches, you want to maintain familiarity. And so the thing with the back end of the business, or the key to getting a much higher lead quality, is to dictate what happens here. What happens between the booked call and the sales call? Are they getting emails? Are they getting texts? Are they getting content? Are your salespeople reaching out? What is happening between the booked call and the money that increases familiarity? It is so simple, yet so many people F this up. And so that's the number two thing, is the nurture content. And here's the key piece to the nurture content on the backside is, for example, this YouTube channel. You can consume all the content in the world. You can book a call between the time you booked and between the actual call. You can consume videos on my channel all you want. Like, I encourage you to. The problem with that is there is no guided path. I'm not showing you how to go from point A to point B to get the best result that you need. This is just content put out there into the abyss. And so what we do is we can leverage platforms like email and text, and even salespeople, to contextually send assets. Let's just say this is YouTube content, to contextually send YouTube content to you to pre-frame and nurture an objection handle. So that way, when you show up to the call, you are now at a much better baseline. You are much more familiar with ourselves as an organization. If you book a call with us, and I encourage you to do so, there's a link below if you want to learn how to run paid ads. We can do it on the agency side. We can do it done for you. Really up to you to figure out what the best fit is, specifically for info products and capital raising. But let's say, again, you book that call. You will receive a series of emails from me tailored to specifically address different sticking points before most people buy. I encourage you to look into this. Like, I don't care if you come into this realizing, hey, these are designed to pre-frame and sell me, because that is the business we are in. So consume it and look at it. It works. And what it does is it creates a familiarity, so that when you book a call with me or with a member of the team, you will get these assets. So that's the big thing, is that nurturing content, but specifically tailored to handle things. So this would be different objections that we may get. This may be different limiting beliefs, like, oh, I can't run paid ads. This may also be disqualifiers. Like, if you're getting a lot of shitty people on the call, for example, with paid ads, if you don't have a 15K budget on the info product side specifically in month 1, we can't work with you. So we may say, hey, just so you know, if you book this call and you don't have 15K to spend, please cancel. We're going to disqualify too. And so what this does, think of this as like a little filter. You filter it out to get the best quality. It's very, very straightforward. And so that's the number two thing. The last thing you can do to increase your lead quality is twofold, and it's typically on the SDR side of your business. So SDR, setter, sales development representative, this is somebody that's booking calls into a closer's calendar or an account executive's calendar, investment relations team person's calendar. All that these people do is call the leads, qualify the leads, book on calendar if qualified. And so by having a really solid SDR in place, I can vet out all of the bad leads. And then what I can do on the Facebook side is I can play with some of the settings on the backside. Again, if you're curious to learn a little bit more, just book that call. We can run through all this, but we can play with some of the settings on the back end of the business to then make sure that Facebook is only getting the data from the people that are quality, all based off that SDR feedback. This also will increase show rates, because what the SDR can do is they can be the salesperson that sends out the YouTube content. This can be the SDR. The SDR can dictate this, and so they can figure out, hey, Joey is concerned that paid ads won't work for his industry. They won't work for his market. And so what we do is we say, cool, here's a video. Let's take this one, for example. Susie may say, hey, we tried paid ads in the past, but lead quality is awful. So I just don't even know if this is going to work. Watch this video. Understand what we're doing. This is something that if the objection comes up a ton, we will push out in emails. If we hear somebody say it, a sales rep will send it to you prior to the call. That's the whole goal of these, is again, to address and pre-handle objections. I do not care about discovery with these. If you're one of the 10 people at the time that watch these videos, great. Just know these are getting sent to every prospect that we speak to based on what their concerns are, to pre-handle and create familiarity. Those are like the 3 big things that you guys can do to increase your lead qualities. Again, lead quality 9 times out of 10 is your own fault. It is unavoidable to a certain extent with paid advertising because again, it's a cold lead, but there are tons of strategies that you can use to increase your lead quality on a call. And so this video gave you just 3 simple tips. If you want to learn more about what we do for your specific industry, whether you're again in the info product space, or in the capital raising space, or you're running some type of high ticket service-based business or product and you're curious to learn a little bit more, you can book that call below. You'll speak to myself or a member of the team, be able to run you through every question that you have. If you like this type of content, like, subscribe. See you in the next one.